I came home early, went upstairs, opened my bedroom door. My wife was there. She wasn't alone. A man was there. They both froze. I didn't, because I already knew. But they didn't know I knew. I saw the man's face. Everything changed in that moment. My stomach turned, my hands shook, but I stayed calm. I said one sentence. 5 words. When I said them, my wife went pale. The man did too. Then I went downstairs. Sat down, waited. Upstairs there was chaos, panic, shouting, crying. I sat quietly. Because I had a plan. A long plan. 2 months of planning. Today was just the beginning, and the real bomb would come later. I was going to make one phone call. To one person. An old person. That person would change everything. My name is Jonah Pierce. I'm 40 years old. What I found that day wasn't just betrayal. It was much more than that. And what happened next, nobody could have predicted. My name is Jonah Pierce. I'm 40 years old. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I work as a civil engineer for a construction firm. My wife's name is Rebecca. She's 38. We've been married for 12 years. No children. We tried for years, but it didn't happen. Eventually, we stopped trying. Accepted it would just be the two of us. Our marriage was good. Or I thought it was. We had a nice house in a quiet neighborhood. 2 cars, stable jobs. Went on vacations twice a year, had dinner parties with friends. From the outside, we looked like the perfect couple. Then about 6 months ago, things started changing. Small things at first. Rebecca started going to the gym more often, 4 times a week, then 5. She bought new clothes, started wearing more makeup. Her phone was always face down. She'd check it constantly. Get texts late at night. When I asked who it was, she'd say it was her sister or a friend from work. I didn't push it, didn't want to seem controlling. But my gut told me something was wrong. One night in early September, I couldn't sleep. Got up around 2 a.m. Went downstairs for water. Rebecca's phone was charging on the kitchen counter. She'd left it there. I looked at it. Told myself not to, but I did anyway. The screen lit up when I touched it. No password. She'd removed the password a few months ago. Said it was annoying. There were text messages from a contact saved as gym partner. I opened them. What I saw made my blood run cold. The messages weren't about the gym. They were intimate sexual. Planning to meet. Talking about how much they missed each other. How they couldn't wait to be together again. I scrolled up. The messages went back months since April. 5 months of messages. I felt sick. Sat down at the kitchen table. Stared at the phone. Part of me wanted to wake her up. Confront her, demand answers. But something stopped me. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was strategy. I don't know. Instead, I took my phone and photographed the messages, as many as I could. Scrolled through weeks of conversations. Took dozens of photos. Then I put her phone back exactly where it was. Went back to bed. Lay there staring at the ceiling until morning. The next day, I acted normal. Made coffee. Said good morning. Kissed her cheek before leaving for work. She had no idea I knew. At work, I couldn't concentrate. Kept thinking about the messages. Who was gym partner? Someone from her gym, obviously, but who? That night when Rebecca went to shower, I checked her phone again. Found more messages. And this time, I found a photo. The man had sent a selfie. My heart stopped. I recognized him immediately. It wasn't some stranger from the gym. It was my father. My own father. David Pierce. Age 62, married to my mother for 38 years. Living 20 minutes away in the same city. My father was sleeping with my wife. I dropped the phone. Ran to the bathroom, threw up. Rebecca knocked on the door. Are you okay? Fine, I managed to say. Something I ate. I cleaned up, came out. She was already in bed. I got in beside her. Lay there in the dark, trying to process what I just learned. My father, my own father, with my wife. How long had this been going on? The messages went back to April 5 months, but maybe longer. Maybe the messages I saw weren't the beginning. I wanted to scream, to punch something, to confront both of them, but I didn't. Some instinct told me to wait, to think, to plan. The next morning I called in sick to work. Waited until Rebecca left for her job, then I went to Best Buy. Bought 4 small hidden cameras. Came home, installed them. 1 in the living room, 1 in the kitchen, and 1 in our bedroom, 1 in the hallway. They were tiny. Looked like smoke detectors or phone chargers. Completely invisible unless you knew what to look for. I set them up to record to cloud storage. I could access the footage from my phone anywhere. Then I went back to work. Told my boss I was feeling better. That night I checked the footage from the cameras. Nothing unusual. Rebecca came home, made dinner, watched TV. Normal evening. I checked for the next 3 days. Same thing, normal activity. Then on Friday, I saw it. I was at work, got a notification on my phone. Motion detected in the bedroom. It was 2 p.m. Rebecca didn't get off work until 5. I opened the app. Watched the live feed. Rebecca came into the bedroom. She wasn't alone. My father was with her. I watched them. Couldn't look away, even though every second was agony. They were comfortable with each other. Familiar. This wasn't new. This had been going on for a while. I closed the app, sat in my car in the work parking lot, cried. Then I stopped crying. Started thinking. I had proof now. Video evidence, timestamps. I could confront them, blow everything up, destroy, both of them publicly. But something told me to wait. There was a bigger picture here. My father had been married to my mother for 38 years. She had no idea. My grandmother, my father's mother, was 88 years old. Still alive, still sharp. She had money, a lot of money. My grandfather had been a successful businessman, and when he died 15 years ago, he left everything to my grandmother. Approximately $4 million in assets. Real estate, investments, cash. My grandmother's will left everything to my father. He was her only child. When she died, he'd inherit all of it. $4 million, but my grandmother was old-fashioned, religious. Family values mattered to her. If she knew what my father was doing with my wife, she would be devastated and she might change her will. That's when the plan started forming. I didn't just want to expose my father and Rebecca. I wanted to destroy them completely. I wanted my father to lose everything. His marriage, his inheritance, his reputation. I wanted Rebecca to lose everything too. The divorce, her reputation, any chance at alimony. And I wanted it to hurt. I wanted them to know I'd planned it, that I'd waited, that I'd been 10 steps ahead the whole time, so I didn't confront them. I kept acting normal, kept collecting evidence. Over the next 2 months, I documented everything. Every time they met, every text message. Every lie Rebecca told about where she was going. I saw my father at family dinners, shook his hand, made small talk, acted like nothing was wrong. He had no idea I knew. Neither did Rebecca. On Thanksgiving, we had dinner at my parents' house. My mother cooked. Rebecca helped in the kitchen. My father and I watched football in the living room. He put his arm around my shoulders. "Good to see you, son." I smiled. "You too, Dad." Inside I was screaming, but outside I was calm. I knew what was coming. I'd scheduled everything for December 10th. That would be the day. The day everything exploded. Why December 10th? Because that was the day my grandmother had invited the whole family to her house for an early Christmas celebration. My mother would be there. My father. Rebecca. My aunt and uncle. My cousins. Everyone. But before that day, I needed to set up one more thing. I needed my grandmother to know the truth. I needed her to change her will before the explosion. So on December 5th, I visited her. Alone. My grandmother lives in a retirement community in Charlotte. Nice place. Independent living. She has a 2-bedroom apartment. Still drives, still handles her own finances. Sharp as ever. I called her on December 4th. Grandma, can I come visit tomorrow? Just us. Of course, sweetheart. Is everything okay? I need to talk to you about something important. She didn't press. Just said come for lunch. I arrived at noon. She'd made sandwiches. We sat in her small kitchen. She could tell something was wrong. What is it, Jonah? I took a deep breath. Grandma, I need to show you something. It's going to be very difficult. But I need you to see it. I pulled out my laptop, opened a folder. Inside were video clips, screenshots of text messages, everything organized. Time-stamped, dated. Before I show you this, I need you to know that I've verified everything, multiple times. This is not a mistake or a misunderstanding. This is real. She looked worried. Jonah, you're scaring me. I'm sorry, but you need to see this. I showed her the first video. My father and Rebecca entering my house while I was at work, walking upstairs together. My grandmother's face went white. Is that? Yes, Dad and Rebecca. My wife. I showed her more. Text messages, videos from different dates. Proof that this had been going on for months. My grandmother started crying. Not loud. Just quiet tears running down her face. How long have you known? 2 months. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Because I needed to gather proof. And I needed to plan what happens next. She wiped her eyes, looked at me. What are you going to do? I'm going to divorce Rebecca. I'm going to expose what they've done. Publicly. In front of the whole family at your Christmas party. She was quiet for a long time. Then she asked, why are you telling me this now? Because I want you to know the truth before that happens. And because I think you should consider changing your will. She understood immediately. You want me to cut your father out of my will. I think he's shown you who he really is, what he values, how he treats family. You should make your decisions based on that information. My grandmother sat back in her chair, looked out the window. I've been thinking about changing my will anyway. I'm 88. I want to make sure everything goes where it should. To people who will use it wisely, who have values, who treat family with respect. She turned back to me. Your grandfather and I built that money over 50 years. We wanted it to support family, to help future generations, not to fund affairs and betrayal. I understand. Give me 2 days. I'll call my lawyer, make the changes. Then you can do what you need to do. We talked for another hour. I answered her questions, showed her more evidence when she asked. By the time I left, she was resolved. Angry, hurt, but clear about what she was going to do. 2 days later, she called me. It's done. I met with my lawyer this morning. Changed my will. Your father gets nothing. Everything goes to you. Grandma, I didn't do this for the money. I know that's exactly why you're getting it. You told me the truth, even though it was painful. You respected me enough to let me make an informed decision. That's character. That's what your grandfather and I valued. Thank you. Now go handle your business. I'll see you at the party. December 10th arrived. I woke up that morning, calm, ready. Rebecca had no idea what was coming. Neither did my father. I told Rebecca I had to run an errand before we went to my grandmother's house. I'll meet you there, I said. Why can't we go together? I need to drop something off at work first. Won't take long. She didn't push it. At 2 p.m. I left work early, drove home, parked down the street, waited. At 2:15 I saw my father's car pull into my driveway. Right on schedule, I'd checked the cameras that morning. They'd been texting, planning to meet while I was supposedly at work. I waited 5 minutes. Then I drove up, parked in the driveway next to my father's car. Went inside, walked upstairs, opened my bedroom door. That's when I delivered the line I'd been planning for 2 months. Continue. The lawyer's waiting downstairs. My wife went completely white. My father froze. Neither of them said anything. I didn't wait for a response. Turned around, walked downstairs, sat on the couch in the living room. Waited. Upstairs I could hear panic. Voices rising. Rebecca crying. My father's voice trying to calm her down, probably trying to figure out what I meant by lawyers waiting downstairs. After about 3 minutes, they came down. Both dressed, both looking terrified. My father tried to take control. "Son, this isn't what it looks like. Don't." I held up my hand. "Don't insult me by lying. I know exactly what this is. I've known for 2 months." Rebecca's eyes widened. 2 months. Since September. I've been documenting everything, every text, every visit, every lie. I have video, I have photos, I have timestamps. I have everything. My father's face changed. The fake concern disappeared. Now he just looked angry. "What do you want?" "Nothing from you. Rebecca, there's a divorce attorney coming here in 10 minutes. His name is Richard Chen. He has all the evidence. You'll be served papers today. The grounds are adultery with documented proof. You'll get nothing in the settlement. No alimony. No shared assets. You'll leave with what you brought into this marriage." She started crying harder. "Jonah, please, we can talk about this." "No, we can't. Almost scoffed. There's nothing to talk about." I turned to my father. "And you? Mom doesn't know yet. But she will. Today, at Grandma's party, in front of everyone." He stepped forward. "You can't do that. That will destroy your mother. You should have thought about that before sleeping with my wife in my bed. Please, let me tell her privately. Let me explain." "No, you don't get privacy. You don't get the chance to spin this. Everyone will know the truth today." "What about your grandmother? This will kill her." "I've already told her 2 days ago. Showed her everything." My father went pale. "You what?" "She knows everything. We had a long talk. She's very disappointed in you. I need to speak to her." "Too late. She's already made her decisions." The doorbell rang. I stood up. "That's the attorney. Rebecca, he'll explain the divorce process." "Dad, you should leave now. You're not welcome in my house anymore." My father looked like he wanted to say something, but nothing came out. He walked to the door, stopped, turned back. "Jonah, I'm your father." "Not anymore." He left. I opened the door for the attorney. Richard Chen came in. Professional, efficient, he had the papers ready. Rebecca signed them in a daze. Too shocked to fight, too caught to argue. By 3:30 p.m., she'd moved out. Took some clothes, left everything else. I changed the locks immediately. Then I drove to my grandmother's house for the party. I arrived at my grandmother's apartment at 4 p.m. The party was already going. My mother was there, my aunt and uncle, my cousins, everyone except my father and Rebecca. My mother looked worried. "Where's your father?" "He said he'd be here by 3:30. "He'll be here soon. Where's Rebecca?" "She texted and said she wasn't feeling well." "Staying home." "I see." My grandmother caught my eye across the room. Gave me a small nod. She knew what was coming. At 4:15, my father arrived. He looked terrible, pale, shaken. He tried to act normal, but everyone could tell something was wrong. My mother went to him. "David, what's wrong? You look awful." "I'm fine, just tired." "Where's Rebecca?" "She's not coming. She's sick." My mother looked at me. "Did something happen?" "Yes. Something happened. Can everyone sit down? I need to tell you all something." The room went quiet. My aunt and uncle sat on the couch. My cousins pulled up chairs. My mother stayed standing next to my father. My grandmother sat in her armchair, calm. "Ready?" I stood in the center of the room. "I'm getting divorced. The papers were served today." My mother gasped. "What? Why?" "Because Rebecca has been having an affair for at least 5 months, maybe longer." "Oh, Jonah, I'm so sorry. Do we know who?" "Yes, we know exactly who." I looked at my father. "Would you like to tell them, Dad? Or should I?" My father said nothing, just stared at the floor. My mother looked confused. "What are you talking about?" "Mom, Dad's been sleeping with Rebecca in my house, in my bed, for months." The room exploded. My mother screamed, actually screamed. My aunt started crying. My uncle stood up. "That can't be true." It's true I have video evidence, timestamps, text messages. I've been documenting it for 2 months. My mother turned to my father. David, tell him this is insane. Tell him he's wrong. My father said nothing. My mother's face crumbled. Oh my God. Oh my God. She started hitting him, slapping his chest. How could you? With his wife? With Jonah's wife? He just stood there, taking it, not defending himself, because there was no defense. My uncle pulled my mother away as she collapsed in a chair. Sobbing, my grandmother spoke for the first time. David, I want you to leave my home. Mom, please, now. Leave, you're not welcome here anymore. He looked around the room. No one would meet his eyes. Finally, he left. Just walked out. The door closed behind him, silence. My mother was crying. My aunt was comforting her. My cousins looked shocked. My uncle looked angry. I stood there, calm, done. My grandmother stood up, came over to me, put her hand on my arm. Are you okay? Yes, Grandma, I'm okay. I'm proud of you for handling this with dignity, for telling the truth even when it was hard. Thank you. My mother looked up at me through her tears. Did you know? For how long? 2 months. Why didn't you tell me? Because I needed proof first. And I needed to plan how to handle this in a way that protected you and exposed them. I can't believe this. I can't believe David would do this. My grandmother spoke again. There's something else you all should know. I've changed my will. David is no longer my heir. Everything will go to Jonah. My aunt and uncle looked shocked, but didn't argue. They understood why. My mother just nodded. That's your decision, Mother, I understand. I made it because Jonah showed me who he is. And David showed me who he is. Actions matter. Character matters. The party obviously didn't continue. People left. My mother stayed with my grandmother that night. Didn't want to go home to my father. I drove home alone, to my empty house. Sat in my living room, the same room where hours earlier I'd confronted my wife and father. The same room where my marriage had officially ended. I felt empty. Not angry anymore, not sad. Just empty, but also clear. I'd done what needed to be done. I'd exposed the truth, protected the people who deserved protection, made sure there were consequences for betrayal. That's all I could do. 6 months have passed since that day. A lot has changed. The divorce finalized in March. Rebecca got nothing. Per the prenup and the adultery evidence, she left the marriage with 0 assets from our shared life. She moved out of state. I heard she's living with her sister in Ohio. Tried to reach out a few times through mutual friends. I never responded. My mother divorced my father in February. Fast process, no contest. He didn't fight it. Knew he had no ground to stand on. She got the house, the cars, half his retirement. He moved into an apartment on the other side of Charlotte. I haven't spoken to him since the party. He tried to call a few times in the first month, left voicemails. Son, please, we need to talk. I made a terrible mistake. I'm sorry. I deleted them without listening all the way through, then he stopped trying. My grandmother is still doing well. We have dinner once a week. She talks about my grandfather, about the values they believed in, about how proud she is that I stood up for what was right, even when it cost me. Your grandfather would be proud too, she told me last week. He always said character is what you do when no one's watching, but also what you do when everyone's watching, and it's hard. You showed both. I sold my house in April, too many bad memories. Bought a smaller place across town. Fresh start, new neighborhood, no history. Work is good. Threw myself into projects. Got promoted to senior engineer in March. The company appreciated my focus and dedication. My mother is doing better. She went through counseling, joined a support group for divorced women, started painting again, something she'd loved when she was younger, but had stopped doing years ago. She's dating now. A nice man she met at church. He treats her well, makes her laugh. I'm happy for her. My uncle sat me down 2 months ago. What you did took guts. A lot of men would have just blown up, screamed, made it ugly. You were strategic, calm. You protected your mother and grandmother while making sure there were consequences. That's strength. I appreciated that. As for me, I'm doing okay. Some days are harder than others. I don't miss Rebecca. That's the strange part. I thought I would. Thought there'd be grief for the marriage. But mostly I just feel relief. Relief that I don't have to wonder anymore. Don't have to suspect, don't have to live with someone I can't trust. I've started dating. Nothing serious yet. Just coffee dates, dinners, getting to know people, taking it slow. My therapist says that's healthy. Process what happened. Don't rush into anything new. Learn from it. I've learned a lot. I learned that betrayal can come from the people you trust most. I learned that planning beats reacting. I learned that sometimes the quiet response is more powerful than the loud one. I learned that protecting yourself doesn't make you selfish, it makes you smart. And I learned that consequences matter. My father lost his wife, his mother's respect, $4 million in inheritance, his relationship with his son, all because he made selfish choices, choices he thought he could hide. Rebecca lost her marriage, her home, any financial security, her reputation, all because she thought I'd never find out. They both underestimated me, thought I was passive, weak, someone who'd accept betrayal and move on quietly. They were wrong. Last week I ran into my father at a grocery store. We saw each other across the produce section. He started to approach. I turned and walked away. Didn't look back. He texted me later. I saw you today. I understand if you can't forgive me, but I need you to know I'm sorry. Every day I'm sorry. I didn't respond. Forgiveness might come someday, but not today. Not soon. Maybe never. And that's okay. Some things can't be forgiven. Some betrayals cut too deep. What he did wasn't just adultery. It was a violation of everything a father should be, everything a marriage should be. He chose momentary pleasure over his son's well-being, over his marriage of 38 years, over his family. Those are choices you live with permanently. My grandmother asked me recently if I regret how I handled it. Do you wish you'd done anything differently? I thought about it. No, I did what I needed to do. Exposed the truth. Protected the people who deserved protection. Made sure there were consequences. That's all I could control. Good never second-guess doing the right thing. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. She's right. I don't regret it. I planned carefully, executed perfectly. The people who betrayed me lost everything that mattered. And I'm rebuilding. Stronger, wiser, more careful about who I trust. That's the real victory, not the revenge. The rebuilding, becoming someone better because of what happened. Not bitter, just better. My name is Jonah Pierce. I'm 40 years old. 6 months ago, I came home early and found my wife with my father. I didn't scream, didn't fight. I planned. I waited. I executed. And I made sure everyone knew the truth. Some people think revenge is petty. I think accountability is necessary. They made choices. I made sure those choices had consequences. That's not revenge. That's justice. And I sleep fine at night, knowing I did what was right, even when it hurt. Even when it cost me. Because in the end, the truth always matters more than comfort. And character always matters more than convenience. That's what my grandfather believed. That's what my grandmother taught me. And that's what I'll carry forward into whatever comes next.